Hello, welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Unfortunately, John Baker cannot make it tonight because he's otherwise engaged. We can't say too much at the moment because it'll be all over the papers as per. But we've got the artist formerly known as Riz.
Oh, God.
We've got Mrs. Mares.
I love him. Absolutely love him.
I love you too.
We've also got Stan.
Right down in my estimation, and
Would you please welcome Mr. Mike McClean?
A good introduction.
Do you have any idea what I've written on here? No, absolutely correct. We're off and running. I'm picking things up about you, Mick, already. And am I right in thinking that somebody has passed away in your family for 100 years?
Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Andy. Thanks for having me on.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, say, I was crying watching that back a few times this afternoon. You know, a lot of people know you from City and stuff like that, but you do a lot of TV stuff as well and other writing for other people, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I repair all brands of TV. I clean all brands of TV, and I do a lot of writing for my son because he's completely stupid. But at 15, that's what they are. So
Yeah, yeah, and I've got one.
I actually went to see one of your shows, Mike. I went to see one of your shows, didn't I? And it was hilarious.
Yeah, you met me, Dad.
Met your dad. Yeah, your late dad as well. It was a privilege to meet him, and we had a good laugh, mate. And it was you got us on stage, didn't you? And I think you actually correctly guessed what my boxers were.
There you go. You see,
is it Nigel, Ben, and Chris Eubank?
No,
it was a thong.
Good. It was a thong, if I remember rightly. It was a leather.
I know that's how you knew, because you could see it peeking out the back of my shorts.
How can you delete a thought?
I'm trying.
So we've got Anne-Marie. Good evening, Anne-Marie.
Good evening, Andy.
And good evening, Stan.
good evening, Andrew. How are you?
Is there any chance we can cheer you up tonight or what?
No.
I love it already.
Heavens knows I'm miserable now.
Right, let's get to the nitty-gritty about the match yesterday. Anne-Marie, we're going to let you open the show and talk about your favourite player. Go on. Did you, out of 10 yesterday, what would you give him? You'd give him 1.
No, I would give him minus. Thank you. I know what you were thinking, you dirty sod. But I thought it was an under par performance, if I'm honest. I think our passing was off, but Ederson's distribution was well off. And we got the goals, and Kevin's was a brilliant goal. But Mahrez, absolutely rubbish. And yet again has proved why he shouldn't be starting the game. He was shocking. And he got set up on a plate at the start of the second half and missed it. And they went up the other end and scored. He's just... my frustration with him is so great after yesterday. I thought he was appalling. Doesn't know how to track back or anything. Doesn't know how to tackle. And I just give up with him. I swear he's blackmailing Pep.
Oh, that's a bit strong. John, did you watch the match yesterday?
I did, yeah. It was typical. It was a real conundrum, wasn't it? We never really got out of second or third gear, and we were up against a very, very good team. And yet, at no point did we ever look like we were going to lose. So I remember years ago, if you play badly and you win, you've got to be a good team.
Hang on a minute. I disagree with what he's saying there. Especially in the second half, Brighton really came out as they are probably the best team we've faced so far this season, aren't they?
Did they have one target, something like that?
I sort of agree with you. I agree with you both in a way. I think the first half, Brighton was shocking. Well, not shocking. Brighton were poor, but we were poor. And in the second half, they came out. And to be honest with you, I think if they'd have played like that from the beginning, we'd have been struggling. I think we've just not hit it these last couple of weeks. Well, Mahrez hit it since he won his contract.
Yep.
Extension. So he, whether it's has he just had a baby as well though?
No,
that was in the closed season.
Say again.
That was in the closed season.
Yeah, but he's still a young baby, isn't it? So you might be having them sleepless nights and stuff. You don't know. You don't know what's going on. But he's the team hasn't been at it for a couple of weeks now, to be honest.
Riz, Akanji's partner had a baby on the eve of him signing for us, and he's been, apart from yesterday, he's been outstanding for us. So I don't go with that. Mike, did you see the game yesterday, pal?
I did, yes, mate. I did, and I agree with everything everybody said. I think you're right. We didn't get out of second gear. I also think he shouldn't have started Mahrez. I think I would have played Phil, and I think that the team that he has, he chops and changes, doesn't he? And I get the fact that he chops and changes. I even said at the first half, I didn't think Kev. And the last few games, De Bruyne's just not been clicking as well as he normally does, and he even, I looked at Mahrez and he's gone from being a really good player to a bang average player, hasn't he?
I think with a little bit what Riz has said there as well, Mike. Since he's got his new contract, I don't think he's been anywhere near what he can be, because he's not a bad player. He's just had for me a poor 6 months, and he's been voted 12th best player in the year. Let's not forget 12th best player in the world. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
In your
voted for that, was that?
That's by his peers, that. So,
no doubt his talent.
He's a skillful player. He's got a great first touch, but he just does not work hard enough. 9 times out of 10, he passes back. And it just defeats the object of what we're trying to do.
You know what, Anne-Marie? You're absolutely right. And what I'd like about Mahrez is I'd like him to get the ball and run at the defenders.
Yes.
And that's what I'd like him to do. But like you've said, and you're absolutely right, he'll get that, he'll cut back and play it in. And if I was a defender, I always know that he'd want to take it on his left foot and make him play it on his right foot. Just attack the play, just attack it. There's, just keep going down there. And that's what I'd like to see Mahrez do. And he doesn't. It's very frustrating to watch. Very frustrating because he's got bags of talent.
I'll throw something in for you, Anne-Marie. Do you not think the change in attack that we've now got a big focal fella in the middle, as we've gone from not having a centre forward who we can focus on to now having one, and Foden again's another one. Has he had a particularly great season, or does it just doesn't take much to get things going out of line?
For me, there's a big difference though, John. And I would say, even without a striker, even the last 2 seasons when we didn't have an out-and-out striker, he would have been equally as frustrating because everything has to be on his left foot. He doesn't attack attack a defender, which is frustrating. And now, as for Phil, Phil's still contributing with goals. He's still making an effort, and he does track back. He's not afraid to put a tackle in, or challenge somebody, or put pressure on a player. Even when Phil came on yesterday for Mahrez, as soon as he came on the pitch, the first thing he did was attack and press the defender, which Mahrez wasn't doing. And for me, that's the biggest difference.
I agree, Anne-Marie. Yesterday, when Phil come on, I thought he pulled us up by our boots, and got us going.
But at the end of the day, we don't know what Pep's telling Mahrez to do. He might be saying, "I don't want you to do that. I just want you." So we don't really know what his instructions are. For all we know, he could be just told to stay out wide, get the ball, and play a nice little 1-2. And when he did play that little 1-2 yesterday, it was lovely, wasn't it?
There could be something in that, Mike, because Grealish was accused of doing the same one, passing back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Until about, say, 4 or 5 games ago, when he's, Pep's putting more inside and he's been more effective. Maybe it's something,
Yeah, we'll never know.
Tactically.
Yeah. Well, what I do know is that Pep shouldn't wear that big jumper with a P on.
Yeah, I'm no fashion expert, but I'm with you that, Mike.
Yeah, because that just opens the doors to too many puns.
Yeah. I think City's not been lacking sort of tempo, probably for a better word. They've lost the tempo this season for some reason, and I think it can only be down to the fact that they've got this new setup with a striker, a target man to aim for, because we've not had that for a few seasons, and I think these players have got used to playing in a different system. Now the system's coming, we've kind of lost our tempo a bit, and
it does take a
Jack
bit.
Grealish.
You are right. Yeah, you're bang on, and it does take a little bit of getting used to playing with that striker and playing them balls to him. Whereas before we've sort of bang, 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 and then But yeah, again, it could be one of the things that it's probably the reason why we're not clicking. I thought Kev played it. De Bruyne played, and I like him when he's more attacking in the centre of the field. I really, really do. I think he does more damage, But you know what? We're still winning.
Exactly.
And that's it. You see, even Bernardo, Bernardo seems to be dropping further and further, behind now, but he's still very, very effective, because he's always busy, making himself busy. But with, you can go through the team yesterday. I thought Ederson, he contributed, to Haaland's first goal. But he could have done that about 5 or 6 times, prior to that.
Yeah.
It's like his boots were tied together yesterday. I don't know what was.
I think he's injured. I think he's injured.
Well, we've got a keeper on the bench, so there's no excuse, is there? So
yeah,
if anybody should have been drug tested after the match yesterday, not randomly, it should have been Ederson, because it was like he was on something. It really was.
Yeah. He kept holding his hip whenever he was, and you could see Diaz. Him and Diaz were talking about, because it looked like he kept sort of asking him, do you want me to take this dead ball and stuff? So he kept holding his hip, and he wasn't moving freely when he was walking as well. So
I think it was.
But if he's injured, he's got to come off.
I think it's like a confidence that because Brighton was, pressurised. It was pressing us. As I say, they're the best team what we faced so far that this season. So if it was lack of confidence, it seemed lack of confidence, not an injury to me. But if it was an injury, we've got a capable keeper on the bench. So why not take Ederson off? If he was.
I will say one thing, Andy. I would have criticised Joe Hart for conceding that, so I'll have to criticise Ederson for it. That's only fair. Getting beat on the near post.
The near post, none of them should.
What's shocking is out of all the Premiership goalkeepers, Ederson, he's got the lowest ratio of saving shots, by the way.
Has it?
Not sure about that.
I wonder as well whether, they've only got 3 games left before the World Cup. And I just wonder how much that is playing on players' minds. Because I caught the end of the United-Chelsea game last night, and Varane went off injured. And he was practically in tears, which would suggest his World Cup is not going to happen.
Shame that.
Yeah. But I just wonder how much that is playing on players' minds.
A very valid point, Anne-Marie. Very valid point.
She's very good at that sometimes, Mike. She does do that, She's very, very good.
She's good, yeah.
She's not just a pretty face,
Anne-Marie. One quick question. Can you just ask the panel one quick question? I realise we aren't clicking. We know that. We know things aren't right. And yet at the end of the day, we've lost 1. We've scored 36 goals. We're 11 goals ahead of anyone else. We're averaging over 3 goals a game. Even Liverpool, who scored 9 in 1 game, are only on 22. And people are going on about Newcastle's tip-top defence. They've conceded 10. We've conceded 11. is this not a new phase of typical City? We're actually doing better than we think.
Yeah, very good, John. Very, very good.
Tips on its head.
Johnny, I totally agree with you, mate. I think it's our expectations have gone up now, haven't they? They used to be sort of like typical City. You know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're winning 3-0 at half time. We'll get beat 4-3, but our expectations have gone up now, and they're at a level where, you know, us on these podcasts, we're all genuine fans. We're all level-headed people with genuine, you know, views. And I think it's, you know, it can sometimes be picked out as that we're being, you know, like the press pick up on it, don't they? All the fans are moaning, they're not happy, they're blah. I don't think it's that we're not happy. I think it's just that we're a bit more critical than we used to be now because of below par performances. We're not used to seeing them, so it's a bit of a shock to the system when we have a bit of a spell where we're still winning, where years ago opposition commentators and oppositions would say, you know, that's the mark of champions. They're not playing well, but they're still winning. Yet when we do it, it's they've had a dip. They're not this, they're not that. Oh, as the wheels fell off. Well,
yeah, if we
no, it's the mark of champions.
If we don't score within the first 5 minutes, all hell breaks loose and panic sets in, doesn't it? I was watching it yesterday, and my lads were like, "We haven't scored yet." I was like, "We've only just kicked off."
Yeah,
they've literally just, you know, relax.
Yes. Haaland doesn't score in a game, and it's like, oh, he's a flop again.
Oh,
he's a flop.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, we went. Well, he had a drought, didn't he? He went. I think he went over an hour not scored, and the place was collapsing. The pies were getting burnt. Everyone was going mad. We didn't win.
Stan, let me throw one back at you. Let me throw one back at you then. So because we're brilliant, so our defence is brilliant. We're scoring goal after goal after goal. Are we not allowed to have an opinion on it? Should we just all be happy clappers?
No, you're right. Again, listen, you wouldn't be having this show.
On it. Doesn't mean your opinion's right.
I know your opinion's wrong, though.
I'd say look at the table.
But seriously, you know, when you see what is concerning, I think Mike touched upon it before. I don't think De Bruyne has had a great season at all. Not just the past couple of games, but I think all season. And Pep alluded to it a little bit as well yesterday.
Yeah.
Cancelo did okay.
He's not going to be 100% every match, though, is he? We forget that these players are human. Sometimes, God forbid, he's down to about 90% of what he can do. Other teams, they'd be on their knees to have him on their team for 5 minutes. There'd be people walking around him. I don't know.
No one's disagreeing with you, John, but I think, as Riz was alluding to, you know the standards we have set. And if you look at the way we played against United, particularly in that first half, there was pace, there was determination, and everybody was at it. There wasn't one player had a bad game in that. Yeah. But what we've seen since then hasn't hit that level. And, you know, watching last week against Liverpool, it was a bit like we were scared. The best opportunity we had of beating them, and we blew it.
We didn't attack them.
Do you think that's because Pep, he's renowned for tinkering in big games, isn't he? And he didn't help himself last week. In my opinion, he started with the wrong formation, wrong players last week.
For me, last week that was crying out for Grealish.
Yep, absolutely.
Crying out
for Grealish. Of course it was. And again, I think he made one substitution last week.
With 2 minutes to go or 3 minutes to go.
And you're looking at Gundogan and De Bruyne in the middle, very particularly if you're playing Kevin, Gundogan and Bernardo, it very rarely works. Gundogan is the most fantastic player. He's a proper thinker of the game, but isn't quick enough.
Yeah.
And that's, if you watched a lot of that last week, it was slow. It was slow, and that's when we're no good when we play slow football.
I just thought last week, if it would have been Grealish taking on Milner, that would have been a different
move
altogether.
Well, Milner wouldn't have finished the game because he'd have fouled him, wouldn't he? Enough times he'd have got sent off. Well, hopefully got sent off because he don't normally do, does he? But you know, he'd have attacked him. I think we missed when that team came out. When they announced their team, I just thought it's going to be murder on that side. And Foden did nothing with him at all. He had, you know, he actually had him in his pocket, and he shouldn't have had. Grealish
would've
had been
pumped-
on there,
I
he'd
would've
have run
pumped
at him and destroyed him.
I would have pumped every ball over to that side where Milner was, and just tied the legs out of him. I know he's fit, and he's a great professional. But he'll get tired. Just get tired. Keep running at him. Keep running.
And
at him.
he's always likely to put a stupid tackle in.
Yeah, he will. He'd have got sent off. He would have got sent off if Grealish was on that pitch. They would have finished the game with 10 men.
No, it was at Anfield, mate. They won't. They
But
finished.
they should have finished the game with
chance.
10 men
He should have
anyway.
been- he
Well,
should
we
have
should have
been
done,
sent
yeah.
off last year.
Sent off.
He should have been sent off
yeah.
last year.
Yeah, he should have done,
Chance
yeah.
he'll get sent.
Just
Right,
a quick. Can I
The
just
thing
make?
is, though, you were losing.
Sorry, John. I was just going to make another point about yesterday. I can't understand how it took VAR so long to bring the game to a stop to check the penalty on Bernardo.
I can.
I know.
That was absolutely ridiculous. And the fact was we should have had the penalty on Haaland earlier on.
And after that, I thought Grealish had a great shout for a penalty. The penalty we actually got, I thought, was the least of a penalty.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Andy. Totally agree with you. And I think we only got
Bernardo
that
left
penalty.
his leg.
We only got that penalty because we didn't get the Haaland penalty.
Yeah. They're looking to take it back and back and back to find something wrong. They're not looking to, prove whether it was a penalty or not. They're looking for something to prove to prove against it being a penalty. They're looking for a mistake so that they can not award it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some.
Let's get rid of referees. Let's get rid of referees because they're not bothered if they don't make a decision now because they know somebody will just pick up on it. So just
I know,
let's have
and they will, but the amount of time we played on
4
after
minutes.
the initial penalty shout,
4 minutes was.
It was ridiculous. It shouldn't take if it's that clear and obvious. It shouldn't take anybody that long to pick up on the decision.
What would have happened if we'd have gone in at half time and they were still making a decision? If the game had finished, would they have come back out and took the penalty?
Yeah,
the game couldn't have finished while they were making the decision.
It's funny
Riz,
it's funny you should say that. Riz, they're actually still debating whether it was a penalty on Grealish. So I think next home
it might be we might be taking a penalty at the beginning.
Look, when VAR come in, I was kicking off saying, it's going to take that, the debate and the banter in pubs and stuff like that away. It's actually worse now VAR's in because we're talking about VAR decisions now, not whether it was a foul or not, how terrible, VAR is. And it's not just the City games, I've seen it today on a couple of the matches as well. They should just do away with it. And what they did have at Anfield last week, and I don't agree with it, they had the VAR screen right in between the rats on either side, all giving him abuse. That's why it was overturned.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I just get as a match going fan, I get so disheartened because I'm jumping around thinking we've scored, and then we stop jumping about, and then you stood watching then for a couple of minutes while they make the decision, and it's just taking that spontaneity out of the game and the excitement out of the game, and you're having to re-celebrate a goal, and it's like, Mike, it's like in a show when somebody puts the gag wrong and then the audience has to laugh again. It's not the same. It's funny when it's first done, but the second time it's not. It's just not got that same effect. And
Mike gets
it's
it right
draining
first time.
me.
Mike gets it right first time.
I'll be honest with you, nobody laughs when they come to see me, so I wouldn't really know, to be honest with you.
I did, Mike, and thanks for that check. It went through straight time. No bouncing and nothing.
Good luck cashing that. You got more chat in the bank, don't you?
that old joke, Mike?
Pardon?
Is that old joke, Mike? When I told everyone I was a kid who was going to be a comedian.
Yeah.
He stood up there. Who's like
Norman, I didn't know we had Norman Collier on with us tonight. but
he's channeling it.
Did you watch the Newcastle match, the Newcastle Spurs? What you were saying there, is it Callum Wilson after the match? He was asked about the VAR, when he barged into the keeper and that, was it a foul? And he basically said, keepers are overprotected and VAR is ruining the game. That's the first player I've heard. He'll
probably get done for that, though. We'll get done for saying
probably
that.
Probably get a big fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's
Good to
ridiculous.
see. Good to see all the results went in our favour this weekend.
yeah,
It was going even better last night. I went round to my neighbours after the game to watch it. He's a United fan, and I was sat laughing my head off. But then he equalised in the 93rd minute. I thought, typical.
My other half's a Chelsea fan, and she was absolutely gutted.
Bet she was.
Yeah, she was chewing. So, I still think Arsenal are the team to watch. I still think they get a few injuries and then they're out. But I think Arteta's doing a cracking job at Arsenal. I really do. I really, really do. And he's done what Pep does, hasn't he? He's got rid of Aubameyang. He's got rid of the trouble, and he's got the players that want to play for him. And I think,
I still think he's
master, John, Mike, didn't he?
Pardon?
So he learnt from the master.
Yeah, and if you look at Burnley, look what I watched them because I love company, and the way they play football, it's like watching a watered down version of City. They're just not getting the results. But even then, he again, like you said, Amri, he's watched the master, hasn't he? And he's doing really well, Vinny. Made up for him.
I think between the two of them, we might be looking at a future City manager.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. That'd be great.
I just don't want him to go. I don't know if it's true. The rumour I heard he's going to have a year off and then come back. I don't know if it's true, and I don't know if City will allow that. But I'd give him any time off to come back.
Yeah.
So
I'd stand in. I think we could all stand in for him, couldn't we?
Oh, does that team need
what a team that'd be, wouldn't it?
Oh,
I'd even play. I'll play.
Yeah. No, I'd get Anne-Marie to be Mahrez's personal masseuse. That'd keep him injury free.
I'd use John to motivate the team because he's a great motivator.
Yeah. Has he froze there?
No.
Oh no, he's moving. There he is.
No, Mikey, John could actually be your straight man when you're on stage.
Any day, he's more than welcome. I'm leaving for a cruise on Tuesday, so he's more than welcome to come.
Where are you off to?
I'm going off to Italy, and then I think it was Greece and Turkey. So then I've got two shows to do, and that's it done. And then that's it for done. And then I'm heading straight into Panto before you say, "Oh yes, I am."
No, you're not.
There you go.
Is it Ipswich again, Mike? You normally do Ipswich, don't you?
It is, yeah. Only because I was like a 3-year contract, so it's the last year. So it is, yeah. It's there now. That's it.
Oh, so you might be at the Oldham Coliseum soon then.
Oh, mate, I'd love to do that. The Oldham Coliseum. I did the Opera House years ago in Manchester. And that was lovely. That was really nice.
I've always wanted to do a pantomime. I was down for doing one last year, and when COVID hit and it got cancelled, I was absolutely devastated.
Make a great Dane.
I know. I know. Everybody says that.
If you're ever in Ipswich, give me a shout and I'll sort tickets out.
I'll definitely come and see that. Yeah.
Mate, you're more than welcome.
Pantomime.
You're more than welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the big man scored his 17th league goal of the season yesterday. Unbelievable, innit? I can't remember, probably Aguero, the last time I actually sat on the edge of my seat, watching a player, anticipating it. And there was one stage yesterday where a player just got in front of me, he just went, move out of the way, floored him. And the old stadium was just absolutely laughing their heads off. I don't think is it his best for us yet?
No. They're still working out the best way to play with him. And it's going to be, once that World Cup's over, I think we'll be amazed at what happens.
He'll be like a soldier what's been away waiting to get back to his wife.
Well, the good thing for us is he's not going to be at the World Cup, is he? So he's going to be rested and fit and relaxed, ready to start again.
Do you know what, Anne-Marie? It's funny you should say it because I was chatting to my lad today because my eldest one plays. And I said, if I was Pep, I would have said to him during the World Cup, go and have a week off somewhere or 10 days and completely just give him that little break, let him recharge and come back, do some light work, like ball work, and then bang, off you go. And I bet you're absolutely right. You will see a different player at the start of next year.
I'm convinced of it.
I just hope Belgium go out of the World Cup really early. England.
Get him over.
I think we've got plenty of chances of England going out first.
Yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm not really interested in the World Cup. You know, normally I am, but because it's happening in the summer, but it's unique in it this season where it's bang in the middle of the season. So I think it's imperative that whoever's going to be challenging for stuff is right up there, and thankfully we're right up there. Barring injuries, we should be okay out of the World Cup as well. Whereas the likes of the sewer rats up the road, they're well off the pace now for the league, aren't they, Mike?
I think they're off the pace for everything, but I think it's just slowly turning everything around.
Which one?
I watched them against Chelsea, and I thought the first half, as much as I hate to say it, they actually played really decent football.
Yeah, they're supposed to have played well midweek as well, weren't they?
Yeah, but he's still not got them clicking as well as as we click.
I mean, that goal of Ireland's, going back to that yesterday, where they were looking at it to see whether it was a foul or not. The guy ran into it. It was like watching Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks in the 80s. It was like he ran straight into him and just bounced off, and and then just finished. It was beautiful, and the penalty.
Yeah,
I just see we've got a penalty.
I wasn't feared one moment with that penalty. Yeah, gotta be.
I was just thinking if Mahrez would have stepped up to take that penalty, Anne-Marie would have gone absolutely mad, wouldn't she?
Mm.
Yes, you're right, Mike. I would have done, because I know I didn't have any doubts watching that penalty yesterday that it was going in the back of the net, and because the play stopped for a bit, and I just said to my dad, I hope to God Mahrez doesn't take this penalty. So,
did anyone else think the keeper did well just to keep out of the way? Because he seemed to go and then stop, didn't he? If you watch the replay again,
yeah, I think he was scared of. I think he was scared of it touching his hand. It might have gone through his hand or something.
Yeah,
John, I just think there's more to come from Haaland, which is absolutely scary. I think what's that 22 in all competitions now is scored this season. And to hit 17 league goals alone, and now he's taking penalties as well. So
God.
Where's he could end up with 50 league goals this season.
There was somebody on TalkSport, and I only know this because when I did the Sunday show, and he because I wanted to get him on, and they said no, and he was the one that said, oh yeah, it's going to take time for him to settle in to the Premiership and blah blah blah, and it did. It took him that Charity Shield game, and then that was enough. He was off and running, wasn't he?
I think he did that on purpose.
Well, yeah.
I think he lulled anyone, false sense of security. I thought they were going to think, oh, he's rubbish here.
Just got to keep him fit. Yeah. Just got to keep him fit. That's why I'd give him that week off when the World Cup was on, just to, go and recharge those big back, because he must have some batteries in him.
Yeah, just to walk.
Get himself off to Abu Dhabi. Get some sea sand.
I was thinking more Torquay, real. English.
Yeah. The weather's good that time of year, isn't it? It'll be like living in an ice box.
Just keep it nice and cool.
Yeah.
Could he afford Torquay though? Could he afford Torquay? Because I believe he's on YCS wages.
Yeah.
Getting his £25 a week.
Jeez.
I wish I was on that. No, it's just incredible to watch, and as I say, I reckon he could hit 50 goals this season, which, considering the golden is he six goals off the Golden Boot winner last
something
season.
like that, yeah.
If you watch now, we're trying to find those little passes to him, aren't we? Whereas before we weren't, and now you can see. Obviously, Pep's had a word and said, if Foden's finding him, Gundogan, they're all finding those little through balls to him, and that's what makes him out. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's an absolute beast. He's a unit, and I love him. He's brilliant. And it's the players that are working around him, that are getting him that ball, that are making him look good. You know what I say?
Yeah. Absolutely.
When he them though, man. It's not just them. Ederson's doing it as well.
Yeah.
They're all finding that ball.
Yeah. You're right, John. I can't disagree. I mean, that ball yesterday from him was probably the best I've seen. That ball was just unbelievable. Used
to be Aguero-esque, that, didn't it? That used to be somebody we looked for, Aguero, when he was with us. Yeah, but it bodes well. It bodes well.
The weight and the bend on the ball, so it ran into his path was just.
Yeah.
He
If
makes
Kevin Brunner had done that pass, you'd be going mental.
John, it makes me laugh the way, defenders at set pieces and stuff like that, they're trying to rough him up, and he's just looking down at him as to say, you just carry on with what you're doing. So the next game, Anne-Marie, is Dortmund on Tuesday.
Dortmund on Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So what team would you put out there?
Do you know what? It's a tricky one because Akanji worries me a little bit at right back. I think if Stones is fit, I'd give him a game. And then Diaz, Laporte.
Got to play Haaland, hasn't he? Going
Oh,
back to Dortmund.
got to play Haaland.
I'll be playing Grealish as well.
Yeah, ahead of Mahrez.
Obviously.
Yeah, and he has to play Foden as well.
I know you love me.
I love him. Absolutely love him. That was actually about Phil Foden, not about
No, it
Mark.
wasn't.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't Phil Foden there. That was
when
definitely
that video,
Mahrez.
I know when I did that video, and it was Christmas. It was the 29th of December, and Foden scored against Brentford. Trust me, I know.
You did that last
definitely
night.
Mahrez.
But I think pretty much the same team as yesterday, with the exception of Mahrez, and I think maybe John Stones instead of Akanji. I think maybe Ake as well instead of Laporte. I'm not 100% sure.
Now you've mentioned Ake, I just want to say to everybody, I think he's been absolutely outstanding this
Brilliant
season.
this season.
He's been one of those unsung heroes that you just go, wow. And when there was talk about him going in the summer, I honestly was thinking, don't go. And I do think he'll end up probably going to Newcastle because, I just think he's been brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. And he's not put a foot wrong for me.
He's our best, in my opinion, he's our best centre-back along with Akanji. I'm forgetting about Akanji yesterday because everybody had a bit of a blip yesterday. But I think Ake's been absolutely sensational. But a special mention for Laporte yesterday. Before the match, I was tweeting and stuff like that saying, I can't believe he's picked Laporte over Ake. But I thought Laporte was our man of the match yesterday.
Yeah, he had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, but I still think Akanji and Ake are our best two centre-backs.
Considering we paid £15 million for him, it's just a steal, isn't it? Yeah.
So, Riz, would you go strong on Tuesday?
I agree with Anne-Marie there. It's put them few extra players in that she's mentioned from weekend, and that'll do us. That'll do us out there. We're virtually through. We just need to go out and not get any injuries more than anything.
We have qualified, but we want to finish first. To make life a bit.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think it matters, does it? Where we finish, if I'm being honest, I don't. You could. I don't buy into it. You still got to beat these teams, haven't you? So if we finish first or second, most important for me is not getting injuries. We don't need any injuries.
I wouldn't be surprised if Pep doesn't play Haaland and plays Alvarez. That's the sort of thing he would do, isn't it, Pep? It's just, you know what? I'm not going to play the big man. I might bring him on in the second half. I'll give Alvarez one. And he's another one, by the way, who's going to literally... He's like that blue touch paper, isn't he? I really like him. Really do.
I do. I was more excited about him than I was Haaland to start with. Because obviously I know what Haaland can do, but I've seen what he can do. And he's like a young Aguero. And I was so excited to see what he was going to be able to do. And he's not 100%. He's nowhere near 100%, to be honest. And he's only a young kid. He's got loads and loads of time to settle into that team, and he's going to be amazing as well.
Oh, completely. And consider again what we paid for him.
I think what's the thing with him is that because he's only slight and he's been playing all year, and he was playing through summer while he was in Argentina. They're just resting him. He's not like Haaland, who's got that physicality. He hasn't. He's not that big fella that can do all that. So why not just rest him a little bit? Let him get into the flow. He may go to the World Cup. When he comes back, he'll be a lot fresher. They've had him on the bench a lot pre-World Cup. He comes back and away he can go then. And it'll come back to what fundamentally, I think, why we can never predict what Pep's going to do, because we would all pick a team to win a match. And that's the obvious thing, isn't it? So-and-so's in form, so-and-so's in form, you need to have him over there. I don't think he looks at things like that. I think what he'll do is, we've got a block of 50, 60 games where we need to win, at least 95% of them. And what I'm going to do is make sure that team goes in and the players go in at the right time, so that they're as fit now as they are at the end of the season, where we can go strong. And that's where we've won titles in the past, because we've just carried on like a machine. Doesn't matter if we're ahead, we'll just keep ahead. If we're behind, we can just cut teams down.
Yeah, he's not thinking about the battle, is he? He's thinking about the war.
He'll have this plan in his head against Dortmund that we don't know about. And this comes back to what you were saying, Mike, about you're never sure what players are doing because you don't know what they've been told.
Yeah.
Now, he'll adjust things very slightly, but he's got an overall plan. And if that means that, I don't know, Alvarez needs 60 minutes to keep him fresh, he'll play him for 60 minutes and he'll bring Ireland on for half an hour. No matter what the score is, no matter what the game is, he's not interested.
See, you heard it first from Mike Bassett.
Things right. He knows. Because he knows over the course of the season, we've got a squad that's good enough to win the lot. And a bit of bad luck here, a bit of bad luck there. That's why he doesn't lose his rag. It's like, it happens.
He could have fooled me watching him on the touchline yesterday.
He gets set up anyway, only because they're not doing what he wants. Not because whether they're winning or losing. Did you see him having a right go at whoever? We just scored. And he was having a right pop at somebody on. You could see him on the sideline down the air. I think it was while we were waiting for the penalty. I forget who it was, but
I think it was De Bruyne and somebody else.
Yeah, and he was having a right go. We were winning that. It doesn't matter whether we're winning or losing. What he wants to do is that this is what we do. If you go over there, you can clear off. And it doesn't matter if we're winning 3-0 or losing 3-0.
You're right. He does think of things differently than any other manager I've sort of seen.
And I think sometimes that can be his downfall. I think that overthinking.
It's the process.
Have we lost John?
I think that overthinking.
I don't.
John,
he's back.
He's back. John, like Mike was talking.
Yeah.
Go on, I was just going to say, I think that overthinking of Pep cost us that Champions League final.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. That was and he's done that on a few occasions, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But then when you compare it to the times he's done it right.
Yeah, but that Champions League though, that one needs to be not overthought. I'd be just telling players go out and play. You know what to do.
Yeah, he's his own worst enemy, isn't he?
Yeah. But we love him.
Yeah. Maybe that's the what's it called? Maybe that's the Achilles heel of the way he does things. But the way he does things is right far more often. I tell you what, when you see some of the people on there, on the group, they said, "Hey, see, I told you we won't win this." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you're right. Once every 20 odd games." He's right. He's right.
Yeah.
The other
John, you're just a happy clapper, aren't you?
No, I'm not an happy clapper. I just think he's on another level.
He is.
He's on another level.
On that note, gents,
when we get beat,
I
think. No, one second.
Go on.
We get beat now, beat and run starting. That's it. I'm not bothered if you lose one. Don't matter. Because if you beat City, you will lose the next week because of the City curse.
Liverpool didn't.
Why get upset?
Liverpool didn't last week.
They lost yesterday.
They didn't in midweek.
They lost yesterday.
They beat West Ham in midweek after they beat us 1-0.
Yeah, it's
See,
great, that, isn't it?
See, not quite the oracle,
Beating
are you,
us
John?
and then losing to them.
Hey, John, you're not quite the oracle, are you?
I'm all right. I'm not feeling bad. How many points would you have given them? How many points over them 3 games would you have given them? 6 points. How many did they have? 6 points.
You're just too clapping happily, aren't you? On that note, anybody else get anything before we skedaddle?
I'd rather be clapping happy than be miserable watching 30 goals in 10 games.
I'd love to see you happy.
Bloody hell.
Because some breaking
well,
news has just happened.
Funny.
Boris Johnson has dropped out of the leadership race. That's a shame.
Who's Boris
Oh,
Johnson?
no.
Who does he play for?
Do you think it might
Westminster.
be? You reckon John might be going for it? Is that where he's gone? He's not gone
That's
Turkey
probably where
getting
he's
his wig
gone
done.
to get his 100 backers. Yeah.
That's it. That's what he'll be doing. He'll be out there now getting his 100 backers.
He's 100.
I've got a Dortmund mate with my daughter. No, you're not. You're going getting your wig done in Turkey, but
What?
it turns out he's not.
He's 100 spackers.
Backers.
Oh, sorry. Right.
No, you're probably
Yeah.
right first time, mate. To be honest, but yeah, that's where John is. Anybody's listening, he's pretending that he's he's off to Dortmund with his daughter. The reason I'm not with him is because he wanted to do one of those buy one get one free jobbies with the wig transplant. So I said no, I'm not going. So he's carried on going, and his daughter's going to Dortmund to make it look like he was at the game. So next time you see John, he'll have a thick head of hair.
I'll take your place.
So, yeah.
Just a quick one, Andy. Don't forget the great result for the ladies yesterday.
Well done, ladies. A fantastic 3-0 victory. Bunny got
Gareth Taylor might be getting something right, eh?
Well, you shouldn't keep wanting him sacked then, Anne-Marie, should you?
I think they're listening to this podcast.
I was going to say, we're not going to discuss this on the women's podcast. It'll be coming up immediately, folks, so don't tune off.
Don't forget to mention the 3 Retro, our sponsor.
Well, I've not finished yet, have I?
I'm just saying. I'm linking you in.
Go,
making it trying to sound professional, like I was linking you in, like it was fluid.
Go on, Riz. Over to you.
Oh, so I went to the match yesterday, and I was wearing a new shirt. You know, ask me where it's. I was indeed. Yes, it was supplied by 3 Retro. That's 3 Retro. For your retro shirts.
Are they at retro prices?
They're at retro prices. Not. Yes.
John.
No, they're not.
Tell Mike what size you wanted the other day.
Medium.
They're at retro sizes.
See, we've got 2 comedians on the show tonight. We are absolutely blessed. Yeah. So as always, thanks for 3 Retro, John, Aqua Gas, and also our friend there, Riz, Prestige Car Repairs. I will be seeing him tomorrow with my. Do you want breakfast, by the way?
Yes, I do. That'll be nice. Sausage, egg, and spam, brown sauce, and a muffin.
And as Riz always says, any City fans, if they've got trouble with the car, he take them down to his garage. He does it free of charge. What a gentleman he is.
Hang on a minute.
Is that not what you say?
Free.
So thanks for joining us, guys, especially you, Mike. It's been trying to get you on for a while, mate, but it's always a pleasure to speak to you, buddy.
And you, thank you for having me. And John, I think a faster Wi-Fi. John, I think a faster internet provider wouldn't go amiss.
He always talks that slow.
Oh, right, okay.
He's actually on retro internet.
He's still using dial-up. Yeah.
He's logged in from his Nokia 3210. Right, guys.
I've got me 10. It's just the string hasn't gone through yet, so I'll have it for next week.
As they say,
did he say G string then? I had string.
That's for me in the bedroom.
Right, guys, as they say in Russia, Moscow. Have a good week. Bye-bye.